Hello, everyone, and welcome to our podcast. Today, we have with us a leader whose career shows the power of learning, hard work, and continuous growth. Our guest is Mr. Ashok Dash, Managing Director for South Asia at Tectura, a global technology company and a leading Microsoft solution partner. Tectura is a global digital transformation company with 20 plus years of experience, 11 offices across 6 countries, and more than 6,000 customers worldwide. With a team of 400 plus skilled professionals, Tectura delivers end to end ERP and CRM solutions across key industries. With more than 30 years of experience, Mr. Dash has worked across many important roles, from engineering and consulting to sales partner, management, and full business leadership. He has worked with well known organizations like Coal India, L&T, Ramco Systems, Microsoft, and Kodak Alaris. And today at Tectura, he helps companies use technology to improve, grow, and transform. Mr. Dash, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And I'm looking forward to our conversation. How do you like it?
Yeah, this has been awesome. Pretty happy to be here and interacting with you, sharing whatever you would like to know about myself or Tectura.
Okay. Mr. Dash, you've had a really long career. Like I said, 30 years of experience. If you had to, in very simple words, explain to our viewers how your career has been, how would you explain it?
Like you said, it's been a pretty long career and it seems like it's stretching more and more. When I started working, I thought I would work for 25 years, but it's now past the 30-year mark as well. So, in a very simple way to put it, it has been a fascinating journey with a lot of good surprises, bad, everything along the way. But however, if I were to put it very simply, it's been a continuous learning process. You tend to learn every day of your life, and you cannot rest on your laurels of what you know from earlier. And I've been continuously learning from different people. It's like every person can teach you a little bit about something new which you haven't done earlier. So it's been, in a simple way to put it, like I said, it's been a journey of continuous learning.
Right. Mr. Dash, while my team and I were doing a bit of a research on you, we came to know that you were a mining engineering, right? You were into mining engineering.
Yeah.
So how did the shift happen? Like from mining engineering to the world of technology, enterprise solutions. So how did that all thing came about?
Okay. So when I was a mining engineer, I worked for a period of 1 year in Coal India Limited, which is a public sector organization. And I actually left after 1 year to pursue my MBA. So when I passed out from my MBA college, being from an engineering background and also having an MBA, I joined Larsen and Toubro, which is a large engineering giant. I was mainly working in the areas of finance, but however, about a couple of years down the line, I got an opportunity to be a part of the ERP evaluation team of Larsen and Toubro. That is when I actually got exposed to the different ERP players like SAP, Oracle, Microsoft, Ramco, so many other ERP vendors. And that's when the IT bug bit me. And I said, I somehow liked the way they used to come, always suited and booted, making presentations, explaining to us the business processes in the ERP. And somehow that fascinated me. And I wanted to switch over to the other side. And that's when I switched over to Ramco Systems, which is an Indian ERP provider.
Okay. So across all these roles, Mr. Dash, whether it be at L&T or Kodak or Ramco, like you said, or Microsoft, which particular role was the most challenging? And one lesson that you would want to give to the budding entrepreneurs or maybe people at the IT sector itself?
Yeah, so I think each of these jobs came with its own set of challenges. If I were to talk about my first job, which was in Coal India, it was physically a very hard job because working in mines, you walk like 15, 20 kilometers every day, down an incline and then come up against the incline. So it used to be physically very hard, and used to manage a very large labor force, which used to be not all white collared people. It would be laborers, workers, all of them together. So it used to be a very tough way to do, but it taught me a lot of man management, because you had to relate to them, you had to speak to them, and a lot of things got done by coaxing and cajoling people instead of really asking or ordering them. So that was a learning for me from that job. So it was a challenging job in that sense. Then I moved to L&T after my MBA, which was again it was a typical corporate job, but I used to be in finance. So it had very long working hours, and during annual financial year closures and all, used to stretch till 12 in midnight, or sometimes till even 1 a.m. in the night. So it used to be a very grinding kind of job, where I used to be slogging almost every day and returning home only around 10 p.m. in the night. So from that way, it was a challenge in that manner. Then when I shifted to the IT industry, I think one of the big challenges was mainly balancing my work with my family when I was in Ramco Systems in my initial years, because I was a business analyst, and I used to work on ERP implementation. So I used to be almost roaming all around the country at different places. So I used to be hardly at home. And I used to be for long periods of time, sometimes in Bangalore, sometimes in Aurangabad, sometimes in Chandigarh, Delhi, depending on where the projects were being implemented. So it meant long time away from the family. So that used to be a challenging part. The other challenging part was that every time you did an implementation, it was a new industry. Sometimes it was a chemical industry, sometimes it was a Medicare equipment industry, sometimes it was something else, a pharmaceutical industry. So every time you went to it was almost like joining new jobs, because as a business analyst, you needed to understand the business processes and then sort of map the ERP systems to run their business through it. So it used to be, in a way, exciting, because each time you got bored with one implementation, suddenly you went to a new place and it was new people you encountered. So in a way, it was like you're shifting so many jobs, though you are in the same company, because each client is different. But what it taught me was to adapt to change. I think that was the biggest learning I got out of that. It was a challenge in that sense. Microsoft, again, a very tough organization to work. I was almost 6.5 years with them. Um, in terms of the number of teams and the people you collaborate with while working is like unbelievable, because there would be people sitting in Redmond in the US, there would be people from the Singapore office, there would be your own people, there were cross-functional teams, it was a matrix organization, so you should discuss with the product team, sometimes it would be the segment sales team, so used to be always busy all the time. And if you had a simple thing like to check your emails and reply, you had to actually squeeze out time from people disturbing you to be able to do what you wanted to do, or what you chalked out to do during the day. So each journey has been different. Kodak, again, it was a very different business. They're into the business of imaging, which was not traditionally the software ERP business which I was in. So it was a very different kind of model for me, selling model. And then Tectura, when I joined Tectura, I was on the other side. When I was with Microsoft, we used to sell our product and Tectura is to implement it. Then I moved to the other side. So now I'm implementing it and I collaborate with Microsoft for getting the product from them. So it's been a 180-degree shift on the other side. So like I told you earlier, it's been a continuous journey of learning, not only from the people around, but by virtue of changing your jobs and being in different industries and organizations, you get to learn all the time.
Okay. So, Mr. Dash, like you said, it's been a process of continuous learning, right? And a career of over like 30 years of experience. How has digital transformation changed the business today? Like you must have seen a lot of changes in the industry, in the world of technology, right? So how digital transformation has actually changed the whole game today?
So it's been in different ways actually. Like if you look at digital transformation, even a pawn shop person getting paid through Paytm or through Google Pay, that is a form of digital transformation, because you're not really interacting with physical money. And if you look at organizations, again, lot of the processes in our times, which is to happen through paper in the initial days, have completely become digital now. And even documents which is to get printed don't get printed these days. Lot of collaboration happens between businesses on the internet or on a vendor portal or a customer portal. And even the if you look at the automation process that has come about by virtue of doing digital transformation, you have a lot of these tasks which were sort of repetitive tasks which are now getting done through robotic process automation, or sometimes predictive analytics has had a big role to play in terms of making the shop floor engineers aware of when a breakdown is going to happen. So gradually, with each passing year, either in terms of activities we do from a viewpoint of the human mind thinking and performing an action, or it could be just a physical action of moving objects from one place to other. Gradually, a lot of robotics and a lot of AI is making that shift happen. So I see that changing every day, and obviously in the future it would be much more.
Okay. Now let's talk a bit about Tectura, right?
Yeah.
So Tectura works with Microsoft technologies,
Yeah.
right? And serves for like more than 6,000 customers.
Yeah.
How is this company different from other players in the market?
Okay. So if you look at Tectura, we are a multinational organization. We have offices in different countries, and each of these offices is like an independent setup, be it China or Japan or Taiwan, India, Hong Kong. Each of these countries has a separate sales team, delivery team. We perform as individual units, but we are bound by being part of Tectura Corporation. So that's the umbrella brand which we have. Tectura is the umbrella brand, and all of us operate independently in each of these countries. HR and the other processes are common, so it's like each country works autonomous to that extent that we do our own business, but we are sort of bound by common guidelines of culture and compliance and the business ethics that we need to follow. So what differentiates Tectura from the other players is we have been with Microsoft for now close to 25 years. We are one of their oldest partners, and we have been very clear in our approach. We have been very focused. We could have really become an SAP partner or an Oracle partner or any other ERP partner, but we decided to just stick or be married to Microsoft right through our journey. And within that, Microsoft has got a host of products. There is Azure, there is Windows, they have all the kinds of products. But we specialized in ERP and CRM. We decided let's carve our niche. Let us be only ERP and CRM partners. Within that, again, we specialized in certain industries like manufacturing and professional services. Of course, we have customers in other industries as well, but primarily we have been very focused, I would say, on what we want to do. We have not tried to spread ourselves thin and dabbling in multiple things. So that has been, I guess, our strategy, and that has also been our differentiator, because our customers, when they come to Tectura, suppose there is a customer in the food and beverages industry, to give an example, they know, okay, food and beverages go to Tectura. Because of our specialization, because of our focus, we have lot of customers in that particular industry. Or it could be the chemical sector. Like in the food and beverages, Carlsberg is our biggest customer, and we serve them for 6 countries out of India. It's one of the largest and most complex implementations that Tectura has done.
So, Mr. Dash, you were talking about CRM and ERP solutions, right? These are like the differentiating factors in the market for Tectura. So, a lot of companies that we know are actually struggling with these challenges pertaining to ERP and CRM. How is Tectura helping them?
Yeah, so I think when you implement ERP or CRM, first of all, these organizations need to understand it's an organizational initiative, it's not an IT initiative. So typically when someone goes in for an ERP or a CRM solution, many think, okay, the CIO will look after the implementation, or the IT head would drive it and it's his baby and he or she needs to take it forward. But that's not the case, because many of these implementations, it's a business application. So There are metrics which the business is monitoring. There is data which belongs to the business, and they are the people who would actually benefit from the outcome of such systems being implemented. So the business also needs to be as much engaged as the IT team when these implementations happen. That is one part of it. The second part is when you implement such applications, the leadership of the customer organization needs to have that message being driven through the entire organization, that the organization is going through this digital transformation, and they would, it's a mandate that they have to cooperate and implement it in their company. So I think that is another factor. And the third is you should not actually tinker around with the system too much. Try to adapt to what is available, because most of the ERP and CRM solutions come with the best practices built into it. So you shouldn't try to really reinvent the wheel, and you should look at adapting to the application rather than trying to customize it to do or work exactly as you were doing earlier.
Right. Okay. So during our research, Mr. Dash, we also came to know that, industry-specific knowledge is also an USP of Tectura company.
Yeah.
So how does industry-specific knowledge help in the era of digital transformation?
Yeah.
How is it useful?
So what happens is, I can speak from the perspective of ERP implementations because we do that. So in ERP implementations, each industry is very different from the other, though you go with the same software and try to implement it in that organization. Like, for example, today we may be implementing the Microsoft ERP in a company which is probably making equipments in the water treatment area, or tomorrow you could be taking the same software and going to a food and beverages organization. So what happens is, at a very broad level, the processes remain the same, whether it's a purchasing process or a sales process or a inventory process. But if you look at the nuances, or if you look at it in depth, you would see that the way it is modeled on the software, the way processes are handled, the kind of controls that you need in the ERP to manage the business processes are different. So mapping the business to the product becomes easier if you have a good understanding of that industry. And not only that, when you interact with the business users, when you speak their language, it makes them very comfortable. And in terms of gathering information and making them understand how a software works, it really makes a big difference.
Okay. So, Mr. Dash, your teams work across diverse services, for example, life sciences, manufacturing, and other professional services. Yeah. Which industry, according to you, is changing quite fast today?
Yeah, I think the manufacturing industry will see the maximum transformation, just because if you look at the manufacturing industry, there is so much scope of robotics in manufacturing, because there are a lot of manual tasks being performed which can be automated. So there is a huge scope of automation which will happen in manufacturing companies. Primarily digital transformation, automation would happen there. Also, if you look at the other side, which is the customer facing side, or the interaction that a manufacturing organization has with the external world, the supply chain optimization, or even in terms of engaging with their customers, there would be a lot of artificial intelligence which would be dominating over the next few years. So if you look at the manufacturing sector, I believe that is the industry which would see the maximum transformation.
Okay. Shifting a bit from Tectura to your leadership journey. So you have led so many teams, Mr. Dash. What is your leadership style? How do you keep your teams motivated? Especially nowadays we are dealing with the Gen Z population, right?
Yeah.
So what is your leadership style? How do you deal with them?
Yeah, like you mentioned, managing the Gen Z is a very tough job. So if you look at it, I think other than the very basic areas like compensation and hygiene factors like the office, etc., I think the way you interact with people is very important. And in all my jobs, one thing I believed is you should be approachable to people. Like they shouldn't see you as some big manager sitting in a cabin and not being approachable and people should be able to relate to you and come and talk to you without fear. I think that is something I learned, and this I learned, I think, mainly from my journey in Microsoft, where even a 20-year-old could come up to you and call you by name without having to call you sir or whatever. So that struck me, and I always, in every job, I insist for people to call me by name. No one, they still call me sir. Some of them, it's very tough to really change that culture, but I try my best to do that. But outside of that, I think people like being spoken to. So as far as possible, even if I'm in a lift or if I am going to an office, if someone makes eye contact with me, I speak to him before he or she can speak to me. So I like speaking to people, being in touch. Even it could be very small, like someone may have got married a month ago and I may not have met them, like just ask a little bit about them. I like that personal equation, like bonding, which comes with that. So that's something I try to do. Outside of that, I feel that many of these youngsters today, their understanding of the world, their understanding of business is much, much more than I was at their age because of the sheer power of the internet. They are almost talking like a CEO even at the age of 22 or 23, the kind of breadth of knowledge that they carry with them. So, what I have seen is that you should, in fact, be a bit transparent with them in terms of the overall company goals. If you tell them why they are doing a particular job or what it would lead to in the end for the company, they are more participative rather than just ordering them to do the job or giving them a task without them knowing what would be the end outcome of that job. So I may not translate all my goals to them, but what I feel is relevant, I sort of translate to them, and so that they feel important, they feel that they are part of something bigger than the task I've given them to do.
Wow. Wow. Mr. Dash, so you've not only led teams or you've not only led companies, but you have also made them successful. So I want to know from you, what is the definition of customer success?
Yeah, very simply put, like it's a good question. Very simply put, I honestly don't believe in any metrics of customer satisfaction. Like we got a 95 score last year, this year we got a 93 score. I sort of feel that it has to be demystified to a very simple level. And what I personally believe is, like, if a customer is sticking with you and not going to your competitor, I think that is the first measure of customer success. And the second, which is very important, is we are in a very reference driven market, which means like when people buy an ERP or CRM solution, they do talk to 5 other people who have implemented the product, and they specifically look at your company having implemented in those particular organizations. So if Tectura today is trying to partner with an organization to implement ERP, they would definitely look for 2, 3 customers they can speak to. Sometimes they're very specific. I want to speak to only a chemical manufacturer, not a manufacturer. So you need to really have satisfied customers in all segments who can give you reference. So for me, there are 2 yardsticks. A customer should stick with me for a good number of years without switching or going to my competition. And the second is, I should be very comfortable calling up a customer and saying, so and so prospect would like to talk to you, please help us, and
Wow.
them cooperating with us.
Mr. Dash, we were also discussing something about automation and AI and how it would actually change the technology sector altogether. In the next 5 years, how do you think AI will change the game of technology, especially pertaining to the solutions that your company provides?
Yeah. So actually, if you look at it, we are in the business of, like I said, ERP and CRM implementation. So a lot of AI is getting infused into ERP and CRMs today, because that is something which the world has realized, that ERP is mainly a record keeping system. There is some amount of reporting that comes out of ERPs, but ERPs are mainly for controlling the business processes and driving the end-to-end value chains in the organization. But when it comes to analytics, both predictive analytics as well as reporting, I think gradually there's a shift, and people are looking at predictive analytics more and more in terms of managing the information and getting intelligent insights out of the system. I think AI will have a big role to play there. Similarly, if you see agentic AI is taking up, it's really taken off in a very big way. And there are many organizations which are automating a lot of their processes by using agentic AI for the repetitive actions that they are doing. So I see AI agents also playing a big role in most of the solutions that people are going to implement in the next 5 years. Then there is Gen AI, which you would have heard of. So again, wherever you are doing a creative or a collaborative exercise, which is iterative, Gen AI would play a very big role. So there would be different aspects of AI. It could be Gen AI, somewhere it could be agentic AI, somewhere it could be just an automation of a process. But organizations will start infusing AI in the different aspects of business to drive business benefits over the next few years. So I see that as being a major part of the transformation in most organizations.
Okay. So there are like 400 consultants who work on behalf of Tectura in different countries.
Correct.
How does the company ensure that they provide the same quality or the same culture, same experience to every customer?
Yeah, that's a very good question, because like I told you earlier, each of our entities is fairly independent. They are subsidiaries of a bigger group, and by virtue of that, there is some amount of autonomy and independence that all of us enjoy in each of the geographies. But if you look at the HR function, if you look at the training function, if you look at the cultural aspects, the business ethics, the compliance related trainings, all that is common for all the entities. So that's a mandate. Like there is no escape from that. Whether it's any of these Tectura entities, we do follow that. Not only that, when it comes to the implementation methodology, there are templates available that are available across all the Tectura units. So depending on the industry, you have industry templates, you have certain reusable IP which has been created by one of the Tectura entities which gets used by the others. So there is a lot of commonality even in terms of the implementation process. Though each country will have its own nuances, there will be localizations like GST which are specific to India which may not be there somewhere else. But still there is a common thread running across all the Tectura units in terms of what we do, and that commonality remains.
Okay. And how did the collaboration with Microsoft helped you in this process?
So with Microsoft, it's a continuous collaboration that we have. So when you look at the go-to-market strategies that we take up year on year, it is aligned with the priorities of Microsoft for the financial year as well. So depending on what the Microsoft priorities are, we also align. And then there are common go-to-market strategies, events we do together. There are joint marketing exercises we do together. And not only that, the training on the new products and the new technologies, Microsoft has a training calendar. We leverage that to train our people. Even in the sales engagements, wherever Microsoft needs to sort of pitch in and help us with the sales process, they do that. So it's a continuous engagement with Microsoft. And we also engage with other partners who are Microsoft partners like us, but sometimes when we implement ERP, we may not have the complete solution. There may be a specific piece where you need a bolt-on solution or an add-on solution. So there are other partners we collaborate with to give a complete end-to-end solution to customers.
Okay. Mr. Dash, we were talking about the Gen Z population, right? And you also saying how these days people around 20 years or 21 years of age, they are now the new entrepreneurs. So what advice would you have for these youngsters who are now going to enter the workforce, maybe the world of technology? What simple advice would you like to give them?
To put it very simply, I think many of them are doing it already. Maybe in our generation we didn't do it, but still, if I were to give some advice, you need to unlearn and learn every day today. Like the technology is changing at such a fast pace. There's so many new things coming up. So you cannot really bank on your college degree or a professional degree anymore. So you need to keep learning every day. So, and the brain has a limited capacity, so yeah, it can't take more than a particular amount of information. So you need to junk some part of the knowledge out and take in new knowledge. So that's why I say you need to unlearn and learn. That is what is called the growth mindset. There's a book called Growth Mindset which talks about this. So I think that's the one piece of advice I would give them.
Okay, we were talking about books. Any book that you want to recommend?
I don't really like reading books that much. I am more a visual person, so I keep looking at different podcasts here and there, and the attention span is reducing by the day. So
Okay.
not much like, but I told you, the growth mindset is a good book to read. And another book which I really liked was Who Moved My Cheese. It talks about change, like how the situation, the environment, everything could change, and you should not perish in that situation, and you should adapt and change, which will be very useful for the Gen Z. It's a very thin book, so they won't have a lot of reading to do. But if they have time, they can read Who Moved My Cheese.
Wow. Okay. Mr. Dash, this brings us to the final question of this interaction. We were talking about advices for the youngsters.
Yeah.
Give us a simple advice for the businesses who are going to start their digital transformation journey.
Okay. So I think there's a lot of buzz around digital transformation today, and people, it's like peer pressure. Organizations feel pressured when they hear some other organization going through a big journey of digital transformation. So my advice to most organizations would be, don't stay away from digital transformation. It's all encompassing, so you will have to do that, but do it in small packets. First, pick up a pilot project, pick an area which you believe will show you tangible business gains. Then keep replicating, keep cascading it across the organization. Take baby steps, achieve some success, then keep moving to the next area that you identify. And it's a continuous journey for a period of maybe 5 to 6 years. And don't get impatient, keep doing it. And over a period of time, you will have the whole transformation happening in your organization.
That brings us to the end of this conversation, Mr. Dash. Thank you so much for joining us today. Seeing your profile, seeing your journey, we knew that this whole interaction is going to be wonderful, and I was really happy. Our audience would be happy with the wonderful insights that you have shared. So thank you so much for joining us.
My
today.
pleasure.
And to all my viewers, thank you so much for joining us today. See you in our next episode. Thank you so much.